So this will be an analysis of the Wheel of Time trailer. So if you are more into the mythology, apologies if this is very, very basic, but again, I have to try to speak to both the introductory and intermediate people. I'm going to sometimes be a little loose with the terminology because, again, I am a bit of a novice to the Wheel of Time and its mythology, but I will try to do my homework and try to be a faithful guide. So with that, let us proceed. What exactly is the basic mythology, and did they give us a lot in the trailer? And the answer is kind of yes to both, but with some qualifications. So what is occurring? Essentially, the Wheel of Time is very strongly rooted in a matriarchy. The reason for that is because in a big backstory, essentially the males try to tap in what's known as the One Power and basically almost destroy the world. From then on in, men cannot tap into the One Power without going crazy or being self-destructive. Now, women can use the One Power, but they have to go to Tower Valon, where they can be properly trained. Within Tower Valon, the Aes Sedai, or Sedai, as they call them. Anyway, the Aes. And the Aes have several different factions. They're known as Ajas. They just have different colors and different dispositions. And for our purposes, in terms of Wheel of Time, the main focus is going to be on Blue Aja. That's being played by Rosamund Pike, Moraine. And the reason she's the focus is because there's a prophecy about a dragon being reborn to take on the Dark One. As you can kind of tell, the Dark One is, well, big bad villain thingy evil that they have to confront. Now, apparently the Dark One is supposed to be locked up with him and some powerful minions, but they may be getting out. So the whole point is that Moraine will find the dragon reborn, fulfill the prophecy, and the dragon will destroy the Dark One thingy. That's the basic spiel. So men cannot really tap into the One Power. It's really only women within the story. And we see these women picking up two women who apparently will be trained to be also Aes and Ajas. But among the men, she's picking three. That's going to be Mat, Perrin, and Rand. Again, it's hard to say what is spoilerish or not spoilerish, but I think it's made pretty obvious that Rand is supposed to be the Dragon Reborn. It's supposed to be him. Obviously, for the television show, they may switch a few things up, so it may not be Rand, it may be one of the other three men. It's implied that the prophecy is about Rand. Moraine will help him destroy the Dark One. An additional thing is that some of the Ajas have what are known as warders, or basic protectors. Some Ajas do not, some Ajas do. In this case, Rosamund Pike does. That's Lan, that's the guy wielding the swords. And what they're wielding swords against? Well, it's a little weird because we do have kind of basic enemies. They're called Trollocs. We don't get a really sharp sight of them or any really focused picture of them, but basically they're these kind of half beasts. They're very tall and powerful. They're really stupid. They do talk, but it's very basic. It's kind of Hulk grunt speak. I destroy this. You my enemy, you know my enemy. And they're in the background, and Lan is fighting them, and apparently Moraine is also fighting them. But, they have these things like horns. Again, they look like animals. There are different classes of the Trolloc, or Trowloc, as they're called. A lot of them have horns. You see this? They have hoofs. They're different kind of animals, right? They're different kinds of half-beasts. We also see the Murdal, or Murdol. They're more dangerous in some ways than the Trolloc, and what they do is that they have these weird faces. They're somewhat more intelligent. They usually are able to guide or control the Trolloc. If you kill the Murdal, a lot of the Trollocs also die with them. Though again, they may be changing things. But those weird guys in the cloaks, that's supposed to be the Murdal. Now, technically, all the evil things serve the Dark One, but it's a little bit more complicated. They do have, I think, some autonomy or independence, but again, they may be changing things. And the Trollocs are supposed to be very, very tall, but from what we're getting, they've reduced the size. So they seem taller than a human, but not much more. It's the same thing with Rand. Rand is supposed to be very, very tall, again, in the books, but here he's kind of like normal size. I mean, I'm sure technically he is tall, but for the book, he's supposed to be really, really tall. And other people are supposed to be really, really tall, but they've changed that. And obviously with Rosamund, she's usually a blonde, but here she's dark-haired. And that's not her real color. Her real color is blonde, so they've changed that. In terms of other major minor things, the photo with her at the doorway, that's supposed to be Tar Valon, and she's apparently staring out at a harbor or something. Also, the picture where she's in the TV guide racing the horse, apparently that's supposed to match up with the beach, that white beach, where she's also apparently riding a horse. in terms of some of the colors that the women wear, again, that seems to be what they're going to become. Again, we're guessing here that the women wear green because they're going to become a green Aja. So what do we get? Well, we basically got a snapshot of the basic quest and the people on the quest. These women, these three men, the warder, and the Aja, and the prophecy must be fulfilled, and they're looking for the Dragon Reborn with these men. We also got basically the enemies they will face at the basic level with the Trolloc and the Myrdal. They did add a few bonuses. We see Tam, who's supposed to be the father of Rand, and if you know Game of Thrones, he plays Roose Bolton, who's a bad daddy in that one, but here he's supposed to be a good daddy. So it's a nice little flipping of the intertext. So a nice little Game of Thrones reference, but they're flipping it because presumably now Tam is on the side of the good, presumably. They gave us a few more details than were necessary, but that's the basic outline. It's a very strong matriarchal. Lan will be presumably helping Moiraine. Moiraine will be picking up these kids. These kids will become well-versed in how to use their powers to destroy the Dark One. Presumably the Trollocs and the Myrdal are like, no, 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 that's bad. They're going to try to stop the good guys. As you can tell, I'm a little skeptical about what the big deal is. Because the more and more I learn about this stuff, the more and more I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. It just is coming up as very childish. But I'm being reassured constantly that, yes, it sounds like a stupid fairy tale at the beginning, but the more and more you go into it, it's not as stupid as it sounds. There is reasons why people are called all these things, and it'll become much more complicated. Two final things. It's not set in a medieval setting. This is supposed to be a post-apocalyptic mythology. Essentially, we're looking at an alternate Earth history. If you're thinking like, wait, why do people have trousers or fancy clothes? Within this economy, this world, they're advanced enough to have those things, so it's not a big deal. Other questions or problems might be, well, how canonical is this? How much close to the books? They are going to diverge from the books. The books apparently just are the big framework. They are going to change a lot of details, which you'd expect, because obviously, if we know ahead of time that Rand is the Dragon Reborn, that's going to destroy a lot of dramatic tension. So they're probably going to change the identity of the Dragon Reborn and change some of the details of the prophecy to make it more exciting. I gotta be honest, trudging through this is more like homework than anything, but it does feel exciting. It looks good, but they are doing things which don't quite add up. That thing like Moiraine is doing where she's circling around and channeling the power, that's what it's called, channeling. She's not supposed to be doing that. Like, it's not supposed to be that massive or huge. It's much more modest in the books. They're really going overboard in terms of what they're showing, but it's Hollywood, I understand that. But one thing I did find really annoying in the trailer, I mean, for the most part, it's cut very well, although why the Trollocs are not focused or why they didn't give it a clear picture of the Myrdal, that was weird. Why are they hiding the horned beast? I don't know. But the music was really overwhelming, and I usually love classical instruments, but that was just pounding my head, and I'm just like, they just needed to calm down on that. That was really just annoying. I have no reason why they had to put the music so loud or so thumping. I guess a final thing would be Shadar Logoth. That's supposed to be like this really dark, evil place. We do see that a little bit, and apparently some really big book addicts are complaining it's not big or strong or... I mean, that's the thing. It looks very much like by the numbers kind of Lord of the Rings stuff, but it apparently is a very distinct mythology from, again, what I'm hearing. I would say it is distinct, but just me reading the thing carefully, I'm still like, I don't get the big deal. At least not yet, but we'll trudge through it patiently. But it does look fantastic. Colors and pretty clothes, but not much underneath it. But we'll wait and see. Been a intermediate work through of the trailer for Wheel of Time. Thanks for listening.